Dominic Harris, my teammate, he texted me. He was like, "Hey, you look at the ranking, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "What? What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
And I went, and I was like, #1. They didn't even have like a profile for me or anything, like, cause I wasn't even on ESPN.
Yeah.
I went from not on ESPN just to the top, and I was like, dang, like, I'm really at the top now.
The craziest thing is I go back and I think about kids, like when you guys first were like, I think Evan must have been in my head, like, you might have been the 4th grade or 5th grade, I can't remember, you're so little running around. And Isaiah, you're just starting to get good. You might have been like the 6th or 7th grade. But I want you to talk to everybody about, back then, you guys weren't the top tier players when you were young. Remember, you guys were like the secondary top tier. Right, they had the guys who everyone thought was gonna be the guys, right? And they kind of always like, I'm not gonna call it disrespected you. I'm not gonna call it that. Underestimated maybe, but just talk about like when you were young, how that might have fueled you guys when you got to high school to being like, cause you went from being like the second tier players to being the top dogs. Like just talk a little bit, both of you guys, about how it was being the underdog and then becoming, and the journey to becoming McDonald's All-Americans, both of you.
Right. For me, like, started like 8th grade-ish, or like even through middle school, like we go to the camps. I wouldn't necessarily make the top all-star game when I feel like I should have. And like always like just built a bigger and bigger chip on my shoulder. And then in high school, went to small school, Rancho, no one heard of it. In the city that we're from, Temecula, that no one has heard of.
200 kids?
Exactly. And then we won CIF. And then we didn't really play no one that good yet. And then sophomore year, started to make some more noise. That was like a little, like a small shout, the little ring. But sophomore year, we started to make noise. Evan came. Evan didn't really get to play that much because he was hurt. And then from then on, like junior summer, Compton Magic summer went super well. I played pretty well, some MVPs, and then everything from there, like from like rankings wise, like 80s to 60s. Stayed at 30 for a really 40 long time. That really bothered me.
Had that great senior run,
right?
Your senior year, junior summer run,
right? And then
MVP of everything.
Yeah.
Pangos,
NBA,
something else
Jordan
too.
Brand Classic.
No, something else too. Other summer camp you got MVP of? NBA, Pangos.
As a consumer, you have the ability to spend your money with businesses that make good products and have good purpose. That's exactly what our mattress partner Lisa does. Not only do they make the most comfortable mattresses that I've ever slept on, but they also donate a mattress to those in need for every 10 mattresses they sell. With over 37,600 mattresses donated to families around the country, Lisa is making a difference for where you and someone in need sleeps. Make sure to click the link in the bio to get your mattress today.
Oh, you won a national championship too.
Yeah. And then and then from there, like people started to get like the name started to hold weight.
He'll bring it himself and pull. Wow! Isaiah Mobley. You see why he was a McDonald's All-American. Guys that size that can rebound it, push it, and then pull up and knock down a three. You do not see that very often.
And then, like, here we are today, USC, Pac-12, McDonald's All-Americans, like, got all the accolades you asked for. So that's how it was for me. Extremely cool, extremely blessed. And
great journey.
Yeah, glad I got to deal with Compton Magic and built crazy relationships on the way.
I love it, though. Like, I look back at some of the guys who were really good, young, back then. And it's like, I just watched you guys pass them. You know, be behind them and just like take baby steps, baby steps, baby steps, then another step, and baby step. And it's like it's an awesome feeling because I think you guys have you've been good now for, you've been the best for like last 3 years. But people forget about your journey. They forget about when you guys were on that team. I think in the 7th grade, you were a little too young, but you were on that Celtics team, and you weren't even on the first team. You're on the second team, the I-10. And you guys play with them sometimes, and you guys weren't even on the top team. They had you on the second team. So people forget that because now that you guys have all the accolades that you have, being in McDonald's and all that, they think that you've been a top the whole time. And I tell everybody, I say, you guys, like, it's funny, when they went to Rancho Christian, no one even knew who Rancho Christian was. No one really knew who you guys were. You were still 6'4", 6'5", And Isaiah was starting to get good, so they knew who he was. They weren't expecting you, right? Then he came and clocked some people in the head. And then you came up and you sprouted, you started doing the same. But I think it's crazy because I think that a lot of people forget your guys' journey. You know what I mean? And your journey is so important into where you're going because they still don't understand how you were second-tier dudes. And that's always going to be in your stomach. And even if you're top now, or you were McDonald's All-American in top 15 and you're number top 5 or whatever it is, like you still have that in your stomach to where it's like, I know what it's like to not be the top dude, So it makes you fight a little harder. But tell us about your journey.
For me, like you said, 4th, 5th grade, I wasn't really like old enough to play with like the big cats. Isaiah was always older than me, so he would always get on the teams first, and I would just like be on the sidelines watching the games and stuff, just enjoying. And then I started getting older, started playing with different teams. I was still like pretty small, so I was like more guardish, like playing the wings and stuff
and
like that.
And they still don't know that that's another thing that pisses me off too. It's like, even for both of you guys, like they see you because you're so big and they're like, oh, they're bigs, but neither one of you guys are bigs. If they would have saw you young, they'd appreciate some of the other things that you guys do.
Yeah.
And so sometimes when they show you flashes, you come down and you're bringing the ball up and you're doing your thing and they're like, whoa. I'm like, bro, like they always do that.
Right.
For me, it's easy. I've seen it, but a lot of those guys haven't. And especially for you, because you've been so dominant on the box.
Yeah.
They just think you're a box guy, and then USA Basketball throws you in the box, and they think you're a box guy, and they don't realize that, you do have a lot of perimeter acumen.
Yeah.
Even from when you were younger, before you grew. They forgot that you were little, you were small, you were a shooter, you weren't even a big, you were a guard, right? And then you grew, and now they see you jump out the gym, and that's all they want you to do. But keep going. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
But like 8th grade year, I started growing a little bit, like 6'2", 6'4", like that, around that height. And then started going to like camps, like CP3 camp and stuff. I would get like honorable mentions, but like nothing like major, no like MVPs or anything. I was still like pretty young and stuff. Then like 9th grade year, I got to Rancho, and then I hurt my foot and then broke my wrist too. So I didn't really play freshman year at all. And like people kept telling me I was good and stuff. And like you guys kept like telling me like I could be like really good, blah, 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 this, that. But like I wasn't really there yet. So I just kept working. Sophomore year came. That's when people started noticing me.
Can I tell you a moment before you keep going? Can I say a moment?
Yeah.
So we were at Rancho Christian. It was a playoff game. Were you playing Rancho Verde?
That's what I was gonna say.
Was it Rancho Verde?
Yeah.
And you got the rebound. You dribbled. The guard didn't come help. You dribbled full court. You dribbled all the way into the corner. The help came. You spun off the help, and just bow. And I think me and your dad were sitting behind the basket. And I said, okay, something's different. That moment. And then, I don't know if you remember, then in AAU, like shortly thereafter, about I don't know, a couple weeks later, we played our first AU game, local tournament, Westminster, and you were pogo stick and everything, like that, because that's the first time you really started dunking, like you were dunking like everything, you know. So to me, I remember the moment where, because in your class, I was looking at the way your class looked, and I'll never forget when that tournament we had that first weekend, you were also ranked in the, you know, whatever, 30s or whatever. I called Paul Biancardi and I called Eric Bossy and I said, hey man, I said, I got the #1 player in the country. And they were like, who? I said, Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley? He's kind of soft, he's skinny. I said, all right, you guys just make sure you're there when we play that first time live. And that first time live, we played at Momentus. And both of you guys went crazy. Both of you guys are going crazy, and that's where you both start. People start believing right there from Momentus. But it's crazy because I looked at your class, and Jalen Green was good, but I still I knew that like if he's the best player in the country, like we're right there in that class. All of us have had a hard time getting a good workout during this worldwide pandemic. If you're like me, I prefer having goals and a coach-led program to push me. The Tonal Smart at-home gym is capable of replacing every machine in the weight room with personal training programs already built in. Whether you're focusing on upper body, lower body, core, or high-intensity workouts, Tonal has it all. Let's not forget, no weights or racks and up to 200 pounds of resistance. And just want to let you guys know that this system is the best in-home system that you're ever going to see. Try Tonal for 30 days risk-free. Visit www.tonal.com for $100 off the smart accessories when you use promo code ALLMAGIC at checkout. That's www.tonal.com, promo code ALLMAGIC.
But like freshman year to sophomore year, that's when I really sprouted too, like 4 or 5 inches, and like just grew super much. And then like my body started coming, and I got my legs under me and stuff, so I started dunking like everything. So sophomore year when I came around, like that was when I started really like just dunking everything in the paint. And then junior year, me and Isaiah went on the run, and like
Great run.
Yeah, we was playing big time teams and winning.
Both high school and AAU. Great run.
Yeah, and then senior year, I was on my own, and people thought like we weren't gonna be good and stuff like that, but we still came out like with a pretty good record. Went to the playoffs and everything. It got ended short, but it was still like a great season. And then COVID happened, and then senior year I didn't get to play in McDonald's and all those accolades.
How about that?
That's tough.
This is tough. Like I couldn't do anything.
Because tell them, Isaiah, like
It's not even like for like McDonald's, all the extra stuff. It's not even like the game itself. Like all that stuff is cool to play in. But you play games all the time. You play games since you were young. This is like the whole experience, and like the people you meet there, and just like it's just like everything else that comes with it is what really like that. I feel bad for you that you didn't get to experience and miss out on like. And then like you get to see like when you make all those close relationships like you kind of did like a USA, but then you get to see where those guys going, because we all go to college from there, and then college starts right after normally, and then from there you like see like you're talking to people like, hey, are you guys doing this? You compare, you know what I'm saying, your seasons to whoever, like you just talking, catching up, talking trash, the whole nine. But like everyone goes into that normal process of normally how it goes, and so like that's the part where I feel bad for you.
Oh yeah, I missed one part. Like when I found out that I became the #1 player and got ranked #1 player, like I was going sophomore into junior year, I was playing pretty well. Like I was like pretty much dominating the paint every single time. It was dunk. And then I went to USA camp, and I played pretty well out there. This is my first time at USA, so I didn't know what to expect.
Right.
And I was just playing good. And like 3 days into the USA camp, like someone texted me, Dominic Harris, my teammate, he texted me. He was like, hey, you look at the ranking, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah. And I went, and I was like #1. They didn't even have like a profile for me or anything, like, cause I wasn't even on ESPN. Yeah. I went from not on ESPN to the top, and I was like, dang, like I'm really at the top now when I've been at the bottom for a while.
You know what's so crazy? I'm gonna throw this in there too. Like you were able to, people don't realize how long you were #1.
Yeah. It was like
how long you were and it's so hard because even the services, they like to move that around because it's good for, good for media. When you move the rank when you shuffle rankings. Like, so like being number 1 for a long time is a little bit of a curse because shuffling that ranking usually is something they like to do just to keep media going, you know. So, you know, it was crazy how long that you held on to that spot. And at the end of the day, it's a marathon anyway. It doesn't matter. Like we're gonna, like wherever is number 1, 2, 3, whether it's us, Cade, you know, Jalen Green, whatever. You know, it's gonna be another race to the draft next year. You know, we'll see how that works. God willing, you guys are able to play. And talk about that. Like, how does it feel like not being sure if you're able to play? I mean, you guys know, and it's just obviously the G League made a play at you guys, and you know you guys really wanted to play for SC, wanted to stick it out and stick with what you guys are doing. Other options came your way, and just talk about like what it is being loyal to your USC commitment, because a lot of other guys are moving on and taking money elsewhere, going professional, taking that other route. I think you guys probably made a family decision. It was best for you to do college and use the co-branding with USC to move forward. Talk a little bit about that and looking at the options that you did have, because you had some pretty good options that you guys could have done, but you stayed loyal.
USC.
And you guys have always been built like that. To be honest with you, the crazy thing is, guys, like you're talking to 2 kids here that never played for a different high school, never transferred, never wore a different AAU uniform, have never switched up. And in these day and times, it's crazy, never switched up. So just talk about that. Talk about just, you know, like I think obviously it comes from your parents, and your parents are so grounded, and your parents do a really, really good job of just keeping you guys grounded and just being solid there for being rocks for you guys and solid. So just talk about like, you know, like your thought process behind just being loyal and sticking with the same high school, sticking with the same AAU team, and never switching up.
For me, like throughout my journey, I learned like when you go through like even because like it's not always gonna be easy, and like people can take the easy way out and just transfer or like go take whatever route, whatever's trending at the time, all that stuff. But like I like to look at it like, number one, like being uncomfortable when it gets tough in certain situations, like at USC or anywhere.
Then talk about that, Isaiah. Hold on, let's start with that, because you already were in, and remember, you told the coach if it's better for the team, you would stay in the starting lineup. Talk about that too. That's part of sacrificing things for the bit greater good.
Yeah, like for me, coach, he had me starting. I feel like he
put
felt
you in
like
the corner.
Right, put me in the corner. He felt like he had a little pressure to start me because I didn't play the whole summer. I broke my foot. So he put me in at the 3, which like I'm okay to play the 3, but that was not what I really wanted to play. And I didn't feel like I could help the team best from there. So he started me from there. First game went well, and like then it started like going down. I started getting less and less action. So I told the coach, I was like, I'd rather not play the 3, rather just play the 4 and come off the bench and then go
That's
from
hard
there.
to do.
Right.
That's hard to do.
Right. And so, but like we stuck it out and we ended up having a good season. I learned a lot. For Corona, for me, I looked at it as a blessing in disguise, because since I didn't get to play, like Ballislife, I played Ballislife All-American game. That was the last one. I got MVP of that. 2 days later, I break my foot at a run, just like trying to get better, get ready for college. Then I don't play again until my birthday, which is end of September, and then we started playing November 10th, so I had a month to prepare for college. And so we ended early, which sucked because we were about to go into the tournament, and I started playing what I thought my best basketball was in college.
It was on Peterson. His first. Mobley off the turnaround.
Condition. Mobley dips between the second defender. Mobley off the ball fake. He knocks it down.
Position. Pass.
But great pass to Mobley.
Now Mobley's got the loose change. The spin. The finish. Wow.
But on a look back, we ended in early March. And so I got my time made up for it.
Would have been in the tournament.
Right, exactly. But I got my time made up for when I broke my foot. That's how I looked at it. And so, like, COVID, it sucked, but like for me, I was like, cool. Now it's like even playing field. Everyone else had a 3-month jump on me, working, body changing, getting all the acclimated to college. All I could do, I couldn't. They didn't even want me riding the bike. I'm just getting treatment on my foot every day. That's all I could do. And so I just looked at it like this summer, like looking at what I've achieved and stuff like this for my personal goals, my body, how well I'm in shape. Playing against people, played against Donovan Mitchell, played against people like pros and hold them up.
The vibe looks great, playing great.
Exactly.
Ready to make this push for the draft. So
right, I think
really good.
Right, and all the trials that I went through, all the little bumps, I just think like it makes for a better story.
Absolutely.
The 30 for 30 is gonna be great now.
Yeah.
Favorite 30. What could possibly make the NBA playoffs, NFL, and college sports that much better? Winning money while rooting for your squad, that's what. Our partner, MyBookie, is running a promo that I might even have to get in on. If you use the promo code BALLISLIFE, MyBookie will match your deposit up to $1,000. Yes, you heard it right, $1,000. So that means if you deposit $100, you get $200 to play with. Dude, that is a win-win. So click the link in the bio to sign up today.
Hey, I got the question for both of you guys that I need you to both answer, and it's really important because part of the reason we're doing this event is to bring social awareness. And it's like, I think our kids want to play and we want to try to keep it as safe as possible. So this is kind of a glorified practice, right? With our kids versus our older guys, make it a little fun. But also, since we're so powerful in social media with all of our kids, all of our alumni, let's just use this to create a message, right? You saw the 4 pillars we have there: equality, peace, justice, change. And just talk about a little bit about how you guys feel. I want both of your guys' opinion on how you feel about like what's going on in the world today. Like when you saw George Floyd, when you see Breonna Taylor, when you see all these things that are going on, like how does it make you feel? Because your generation is different than ours. It's been going on for a long time, but it seems like it's all hit the fan at this point. And like really like you guys are living something that's hasn't happened in 100 years or maybe since the Great Depression or whatever. And it's like you're gonna look back on this day when you guys are older and you're gonna talk about 2020. It's gonna be it's gonna be crazy. I don't even know what they're gonna call it, what the name for it's gonna be, I'm not sure. But it's gonna be a part of your generation's makeup. And if you guys are able to turn the corner and make a change with it. So just give the people what you think or how you felt when you saw these things. You started having this time, and just start, how'd you feel when you see all these things going on, the protests and Ahmaud Arbery and just all these things?
I'll just start with 2020 as a whole at first, like, because 2020 is my senior year. Like, that's a big year for a lot of people, like graduating high school and all that. Like, I never got to get like a real graduation. It was like a drive-through, and then like you just walk across the stage, and then your parents see you, yeah, and then it's over. Like, it wasn't like anything like what like past people, yeah. And like when you think of 2020, it's like a big year, like 2020. So like you think like it's gonna be the best year possible and all that, but like COVID, Black Lives Matter, like a lot of stuff happened, and with like all the Black Lives Matter movement, like it's just like not surprising because like I knew like a lot of that stuff is real and all that, but like it just puts you in a perspective when you like see those videos and stuff. You're like, wow, that really could happen to me like anytime, and like it's like really scary and like serious, and like you really gotta speak up and like speak what you believe, and like don't forget it ever. But that's what I think about it.
And think, Ev, like this is what I was gonna say too, Ev. It's like, man, like, you know, both of you guys are gonna be fortunate enough to come into some money, and it's crazy because if you watch what happened the other day with Masai, the GM of the Raptors, he's walking down to get a trophy, and this dude like, just did some crazy stuff to him, right? And then try to sue him. Like that's the world you're going into. That's a sick place, like where someone can do something like that, right? Because they know who you are. They pull some BS, and then they say they're gonna sue you, and you didn't do anything, right? So you guys are about to embark in this different world, like your kids right now. And you've seen a little bit, but it's gonna be different when you start really making that money and you start becoming a commodity, it starts to become a job. And so Isaiah, just again, talk about how you feel about the things that are going on today, like all this racial and social stuff that's going on today.
So like for me, like I got to do all the cool stuff and all that stuff. So for me, it's a little different. He got to finish the season. I didn't get to finish my season, and I'm a freshman, so like it wasn't like senior. I haven't played 3 seasons. See how it goes. I was looking forward to. I'm at the Pac-12 when COVID hit, stops our season. Come home for about a month or 2. Then people start rioting, and I'm living both in Temecula and in LA at the time. So at the heat of the riots, I lived literally downtown LA is 0.8 miles from my house, and so like I'm driving up to LA, and George Floyd video goes viral. Protests. They said police cars are on fire. You can't even. LA curfew is at 5 p.m. Before it even gets dark outside, you can't even leave. And so, like, living in a time like that, like most of the time you see that stuff in movies. You don't see people.
It is a movie.
Right,
A movie.
exactly. And I got to see it firsthand. Police cars on fire, people running through the streets, and I'm like for me, I'm into like all like the civil rights movement, all that stuff, and I know my history on it. And so like and then me as an athlete, like bigger picture, I want to go and help protest. But also I know I can't be in the streets and get caught up on some like BS, because people are getting arrested for anything, just being out there. And so like it's a conflict that it's tough to deal with. But I think in 2020 with this power of social media, I think our message more than ever has been able to have access to people and change their views and their perspectives, and hopefully start a wave of change for the betterment of everyone. Not just like relationships, like, because not all cops are bad, but there is bad cops out there. And so like people understanding that, and people of different colors understanding what minorities go through on a daily basis, of just like normal social prejudice and just like being racially profiled, like it's everything. And like me as a person, like when I walk into places, I'm tall, I'm 6'10". 90% of the time people assume, oh, you play basketball, da 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 da.
6'10" and black.
Exactly. And so like if I walk into a nice restaurant in LA, they assume I'm probably play for the Lakers and have money, and just that I got my money through NBA. I can't be anything more than that. And so like the struggles of that, being a student athlete, and even now, the Pac-12 protest, there's a Pac-12 protest going on currently, and people are trying to get paid. Well, I think we should be getting paid our fair share. And that like for me, I'm a spokesperson for our team. With the Black Lives Matter movements. And
tell the camera that again. Say that. You talk to me. Say it again. You're the spokesperson for.
Me and Ethan Anderson are both spokespersons for our USC men's basketball team.
For Black Lives Matter.
For Black Lives Matter movement.
Awesome.
And so
Awesome.
we talk to the other teams about what we can do in our community to make it better. Join the protests both online and like the peaceful ones out and about, and make sure our voices are heard as Black student athletes in a predominantly like white campus. So it's serious to me, but I think we can make a lot of change, especially with events like this, and there's people just hashtagging, do all that you can, follow the trends that are helping, and then
and vote.
And vote.
And get the right
vote.
people in office.
Register to vote. Our whole team, our USC men's basketball team, our women's basketball team just all got completely registered to vote, and our men's basketball team is in the process of being all registered to vote.
Did you guys hear that, guys? The whole USC women's and men's basketball team are all registered to vote.
And
registered to vote.
And our AD gave us the day off, no athletic anything on the Tuesday that everyone votes, so we can all have the time to go down there and place our vote.
Hey, Trojan fans, Ethan Anderson here. You have until October 19th to register to vote.
If you guys miss out, you can come here and vote October 30th till Election Day, November 3rd. Make sure to vote. Fight on.
It's awesome.
Compton Magic. It's the way.
Good job. Don't keep forgetting your damn finger. All right.